Different cup.
Yep. Iron brew today.
Do you have like an obsession with cups?
I like cups. I've had this cup for ages. This is my metal pint glass cup. Metal pint.
What happened to your keep cup?
I replaced the keep cup ages ago with this.
Oh, what kind of cup is that?
It's a show.
Yeah.
Travel cup. It keeps things hotter for longer than the keep cup did. It keeps stuff hot for just hours and hours and hours.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. So you would say the show cups are better than keep cups?
I would recommend Show, SHO, an unpaid promotion for them.
Yeah.
They're very good. They're really good. Nice colours, nice range of colours. This is red, as you can see on the Google Meet we're doing. Yeah. And they do designs. They have food flasks that keep food warm for a long time. They have a gin bottle that's really good. They're a good company.
You better tag them on this episode, so promotion on our way. What happened to your pickle jar?
Oh, it's in the it's there. I still use it, but I'm using the metal pint cup because it's a bit warm today, and I wanted, because metal conducts heat, and the iron brew is very cold, so the cup is nice and cold in the hand, which is pleasant.
Never had iron brew.
It's from Scotland.
Yeah, never tasted it.
It's great.
Just the colour puts me off.
But it's an occasional treat because it is not good for you. So,
life is not good for you.
Exactly. Episode 104.
Yeah, let's do it.
Two friends just made a podcast. Two good friends just made a podcast. Two friends just made a podcast. It's called Culture Bucket. Two friends just made a podcast. Two good friends just made a podcast. Two friends just made a podcast. Culture Bucket, Georgia and Alex.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 104 of the Culture Bucket podcast, the university's greatest podcast, where two wonderful best friends talk all things pop culture forever and ever and ever. Amen. And
ever. What song is that?
Forever? It's a Kanye song, isn't it?
Maybe.
Forever. Yes, it's a Kanye. I can't remember what. It's definitely Kanye. So today is one of our Culture Catch-up episodes. We're going to be sharing what pop culture we've been absorbing over the past few weeks. Before we get into it, I'm going to remind you to please rate and review us. You can do it in app. You can do it on wherever you're listening to podcasts. Go and rate it. Go and review it. Give us a like. Give us a follow. You can find links to all the places you can do that in the show notes for this episode, to our link tree, along with places to buy us a coffee if you'd like to support us a little bit. And we'd really appreciate it. So please do go and do that and tell your friends about us and get more people listening. And
who are you?
Oh, yeah. I am George, your regular host, and the other voice you can hear is your other regular host, Alex.
Hi, George. Hi, everyone. You forgot about us today, George.
Forgot about Dre.
I think I put you off with Kanye. But I don't think it's Kanye. Forever.
It is.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Culture catch-up time. We're going to talk about the culture that we've been doing, etc. I'm going to start this week. Let's start with some of the smaller things before we go into some of the bigger things to discuss. So I'll start with The Three Musketeers.
Oh, they've done another film.
They've done another Three Musketeers film, but here's the thing about this Three Musketeers film, Alex, that might make you go, okay then, fair enough. It's a French film.
Oh.
That's the poem of that. That's where that story is set. So make that movie in France.
Perfect.
In French,
nice.
And maybe you'll get a good film out of it. So yeah, this is a French production, but it's a huge. It's not it looks and feels like a Hollywood production, but it's been produced in France. Stars a variety of French actors, including a few you might know, including the French/British actress, I believe, Eva Green.
Oh.
Oh, maybe she's just French, actually. She just does a lot of work. I think she's just French. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes, the wonderful French actress Eva Green, who people will know from Casino Royale and along with a lot of other things. She's great. She's in this playing Milady. And Milady de Winter, who's a... Do you know the story of the Three Musketeers?
Yeah.
I don't, really.
Oh.
Part of the confusion is that there's 4 of them.
Yeah, there. Yeah, but they are 3 musketeers, and then D'Artagnan joins them. But it's not. But it's not like then he.
So how many? When you add 1 to 3, how many do you have?
Wait a second. But D'Artagnan wasn't a musketeer at the beginning. Then he gets joined by the 3 No, he joins the 3 musketeers. So the book, it starts with 3, and then D'Artagnan joins in, and then I think at the end he becomes a musketeer. For the most time, he's just a helper, isn't he? That's why it's called the 3 Musketeers and not the 4 Musketeers.
I suppose.
I do have a real soft spot for the 3 Musketeers, so I've seen a lot of films or cartoons. And
I used to watch a cartoon called Albert the 4th Musketeer. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Hang on. Oh, Albert the 5th Musketeer. Yeah, because even they recognised that D'Artagnan was Albert the 5th Musketeer.
D'Artagnan becomes the musketeer at the end. He's not a musketeer to begin with. That's why it's called the 3 Musketeers.
Yeah, so this cartoon I used to watch, here's Wikipedia's description of it. The show centres around the antics of Albert de Parmagnan, a new member of the Musketeers. The series takes place after the siege of La Rochelle, and therefore after D'Artagnan has become a musketeer, but before Milady's death. While the other 4 musketeers are portrayed as bumbling and incompetent, Albert is quick-witted and clever, creating many inventions to get the others out of trouble. So it's like it was a children's cartoon, and it portrayed the main 4 musketeers as being incompetent idiots. Then there was this 5th musketeer that no one knew about because he's really short. He's like really, really short, but he makes all these little inventions that manage to save the day all the time. But it was fun. It was a fun thing. Cardinal Richelieu was the bad guy. Yeah, I liked that cartoon a lot. That was my main understanding of the Musketeers.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, I was always like, Albert's the 5th Musketeer, and then all these movies that people watch are about 3 Musketeers.
Yeah.
Where's the 4th
Because you have
Musketeer?
to train to be a musketeer. You're not just born a musketeer.
Well, this movie is basically what they've done is they've made one massive 4-hour-long movie or something, and then they've split it in 2.
Oh,
and the one that just released is called The 3 Musketeers: D'Artagnan. And is the tale of D'Artagnan. It's the first half of the story, right? D'Artagnan going to wherever, meeting the Musketeers, going to Paris, meeting the Musketeers, and joining up with them. It ends at a point where, well, I guess I won't spoil it, but it ends at a point that feels like a reasonable point to finish the film. And then the second half, that's out later this year, I think that they're coming pretty hot and quick, these 2 movies, is called The 3 Musketeers, Milady, and will finish the tale.
Ah, Milady.
Which is good, because you don't get a lot of Eva Green in this movie, but she's very good for the bit she's in. You've also got Francoise Civil, who plays D'Artagnan, the great Vincent Cassel, who's been in everything.
Vincent Cassel, come on, he's French. He's Cassel.
That's what I said. Black Swan. He's been in Ocean's 13. He's been in loads of stuff. He plays Athos, and then a few actors that I don't really know, but like Romain Duris plays Aramis. Pierre Marmé, I don't know, plays Porthos, and then a load of other people. And it is a really entertaining, solidly made, swashbuckling adventure movie that just, I think, tries... Because they get these ones like... There was one a few years ago that had Christoph Waltz maybe in it, and it tried to tell it in like a steampunk setting with like... This is just the setting as it is in the book, telling the story from the book, but making it fun and exciting with lots of good sword fights and, intrigue. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it's good to see a big, exciting production like this coming out of somewhere other than Hollywood and succeeding as it has done. And I really look forward to seeing the second one, which they should call The 4 Musketeers.
Yeah, but...
Because by that point in the story, he has joined them.
Yeah, but it's always going to be the 3 Musketeers. That's what, Alexander Dumas wrote. He didn't read the Four Musketeers. His name.
He couldn't count his own characters in his own story. That's not, we are now able to accurately count how many characters there are in the story. So we should retitle the story appropriately. After that, I'd like to talk briefly about a movie called Polite Society. Have you heard of Polite Society?
No.
Polite Society is directed and written by Nida Manzoor, who is a British screenwriter and director who is most well known prior to this for making a comedy show on Channel 4 called We Are Lady Parts, which follows the adventures of an all-female punk rock band that consists entirely of Muslim women, which is meant to be really good. I've never seen it, but it's been really highly acclaimed. So she's now made her debut feature film, Polite Society. It's set in London. It follows British Pakistani teenager Ria Khan, who is played by Priya Kansara, who's wonderful. And her goal in life is to become a movie stunt woman like her idol Eunice Huthart, who is a real real stunt woman.
Is she?
Yeah. And so that's Ria's dream, is to become a stunt woman in movies. She spends her time making videos in her back garden of her doing various martial arts moves, as well as training for karate and things like that. Her older sister, played by Ritu Arya, plays Lena Khan, Ria's older sister, who has recently dropped out of art school and returned to the family home and is clearly in a bit of a crossroads in life and isn't sure what to do, and helps her younger sister make these videos and stuff like that. Parents love them, but are very traditional and would like them to lead more typical lives, get married, have a family, etc., etc. And everything, Ria's life falls apart when one day Lena is charmed and wooed off her feet by the successful geneticist Salim, who convinces Lena to get engaged and marry him and move to Singapore, and it's going to destroy Ria's life because she's going to lose her best friend, her sister, etc., etc. And so Ria sets out to try to prove that there is something shady about this new man in her sister's life, and discover what's really going on. The thing I liked about this film is that it is a sort of blend of films like East is East or Bend It Like Beckham, with like traditional martial arts action movies. It has all these fight scenes that are filmed and choreographed as if they are like in a Bruce Lee movie, but you're actually watching like two teenagers have a fight in a classroom in school or something like that. And then that's all filmed really energetically and exciting. You know, it's exciting. It's really, really funny when it needs to be funny. It has all of the cast are fantastic. Salim's mother is played by... Where are we here? Oh, Nimra Busha, who played the villain in Miss Marvel recently. And she plays another really good like villainous role in this. And yeah, I liked it. I would recommend people check out Polite Society.
Sounds good.
I thought the trailer didn't sell it particularly well. I wasn't that excited to see it, but I gave it a go, and I really, really enjoyed it. So, yeah.
Sounds amazing.
People should watch it. It's a good film. Good little British movie. And we need as many of those as we can get. Okay, what's the next movie? The next movie I'm going to talk about is slightly bigger. I'm going to talk to you about a film called Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah. I want to see it.
Volume 3.
Volume 3. Is this the last volume?
They made the third one. It's the last volume with James Gunn. at the helm. It's the last volume, certainly, with this collection of Guardians, but it's almost definitely not the last Guardians of the Galaxy film. In the same way that Avengers Endgame is the last movie with that set of Avengers, Iron Man, etc. But there's more Avengers movies coming, but it will be different characters. So we saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 together.
Yes.
In Japan. Brilliant movie.
Very good.
We loved it.
So good.
Had a great time.
Yeah, funny,
wonderful, entertaining, great music.
Yes.
Everything you want out of a movie. Then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 came out. And I was not a big fan of that movie. Have you seen that movie?
I'm not sure, actually.
It's got Kurt Russell in it playing Chris Pratt's dad.
I have seen that movie. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For me, a big old letdown.
I don't remember it, so probably I wasn't that impressed.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times now and tried to come, and I just can't have a very good time with it. It breaks the team up in a way that doesn't seem entertaining. It tells a story that isn't very interesting. The villain, like, they really sort of don't use Kurt Russell well. I really don't like Volume 2 at all. I think it's a really sort of big misstep. In the years since Volume 2 came out, Chris Pratt has become one of the most unbearable celebrities in the world. James Gunn has been fired for making Volume 3 and then rehired after the entire cast went up in arms about it, including Chris Pratt, who apparently kept texting James Gunn Bible verses, which I'm sure is exactly the kind of support you want after you've just been fired from a job. And Dave Bautista, who actually publicly just went on a huge sulky tantrum about it and helped get James Gunn rehired as well. Got a lot of time for Dave Bautista. What else has happened? And then James Gunn, of course, because he was fired for making Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, he ended up going over to DC and making the Suicide Squad movie for them before agreeing to go back to Disney and make Guardians 3. And now since then, he's obviously very famously been hired to be the new head of DC Studios, and attempts to do finally with the DC characters what Marvel have been doing for over a decade with the Marvel characters, but with a more difficult job of it, really, because he's trying to now course correct this weird universe that Zack Snyder created, rather than starting fresh. So we'll see. Or he is starting fresh, but isn't starting fresh because there's a new Superman coming and it's not Henry Cavill. Bizarre.
Why is it not Henry Cavill?
Because James Gunn wants to make a film about not the origins of Superman, but I think a film where Superman is a young man and Henry Cavill just turned 40, so he's not exactly a young man, so it doesn't fit with the story that James Gunn apparently wants to tell.
But that means if maybe in a few years' time when Superman grows up, is there a possibility that Henry Cavill would come back?
I don't think so, because it's going to be like a man in his 20s, not like a teenager or a child. So I think that, but then, all these movies now end up in multiverses, and, the Flash movie that's coming out. I think that we'll see Henry Cavill again as Superman. But I think that this story that he's about to tell now is not one that Henry Cavill can play. It's going to be a much younger man. And I feel
sorry for Henry Cavill because he got fired from The Witcher as well.
Yeah, well, no, he didn't.
Not fired. He's not doing The Witcher anymore.
Yeah, but I don't want to go into it. I read some stuff that made it sound like maybe Henry Cavill's not the world's greatest man. Regarding his treatment of people on the set of that show and stuff like that. But again, that's all speculation. I don't really know fully what the story is there, but I'm reticent to have much of an opinion on Henry Cavill, beyond the fact that I enjoy his performances. But he's fine. He's going to be fine. He's announced that he's heading up this Warhammer. They're making a whole load of Warhammer stuff, apparently, and Henry Cavill's going to be leading the charge with that, and he's famously a massive fan of Warhammer, so, I think Henry Cavill's going to be happy, whatever happens. It was a very weird thing where they brought him back very briefly at the end of that Black Adam movie, but that sounded like it was The Rock's fault. And anything that I can blame The Rock for, I'll happily do. So, yeah. Get out of town, The Rock. No one likes you.
So, I don't think that's a popular opinion, George.
Well, it's my opinion.
Exactly. Nobody likes you. George doesn't like you. I have no opinion on The Rock.
The Rock.
I literally have no opinion on him. I don't care.
He sucks. They're making a Moana live action Moana movie. He's not the star of Moana, but he's out there acting as if he's the star of this new live action movie. No, you're not.
What?
Moana's the star of Moana.
What is he? Is he going to play?
He's going to play Maui again.
Oh, okay.
No, not okay. Bad idea. But he's desperate. He's desperate to be the star of some kind of big franchise. He thought it was going to be Black Adam. No, he made a terrible movie. Ha, that's not going to happen. He thought it was going to be the Fast and Furious spin-off. No, ha, 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 ha. What an awful man. Anyway,
this was supposed to be
happened.
A positive podcast, George.
It's meant to be a review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. All of that to say that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I went into it with rock bottom expectations. I don't particularly like the lead actor anymore. The director, he's very outspoken on Twitter in a way that I find quite aggravating. So he kind of, not in like, he doesn't have I align with his opinions, but he constantly replies to people on Twitter who are posting rumours, and he'll be like, "No, this isn't happening. To be clear, this isn't true." No. I'm like, just let people make stuff up. Like, you don't need to personally tell every single person on Twitter that makes up a rumour about a movie you're making that they're wrong. Like, you're not achieving anything by it. Just go off and make your movie. Stop. I don't know. It just sounds like he wants people to. I don't know. Anyway, all of that said, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is one of the best movies Marvel have made in quite a long time.
Oh.
It's probably the best one since, well, for me, Multiverse of Madness, but I have a real soft spot for Multiverse of Madness. It's probably the best one since like Endgame, really. It is really, really good. And it helped me to better understand what I don't like about Volume 2, which is this movie. It sort of brings the focus around to Rocket Raccoon and tells Rocket Raccoon, spends a lot of time telling us where Rocket Raccoon came from, and the bad guy has like a real personal connection to Rocket Raccoon. The bad guy being the High Evolutionary, played by Chiwuki Iwuji. But it's a team film. It is the whole team working together to try to help Rocket Raccoon, and they all get their own little moments. Whereas Volume 2 feels really much like, rather than being a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, it's a Star-Lord, Chris Pratt solo movie, with the rest as like supporting characters. This felt much more like an ensemble piece with them all kind of getting their own moments to shine. And I think that's what made it exciting. They go to lots of different weird locations. There's lots of great music drops. It opens with a Radiohead song. There's a Florence and the Machine song in there. There's a Faith No More song in there. There's some really good 90s alt rock stuff. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. It's funny, which was great to see again, to really sit there laughing at like one of these movies. Like, Chris Pratt is good in it and he's funny in it. He does a good performance. Batista's hilarious in it. I really enjoyed Karen Gillan. I thought Nebula got a really good storyline in this film. It's really entertaining. I will say it's got some of the most upsetting and distressing sequences I've seen in any superhero movie ever. The High Evolutionary is a vivisectionist, does experiments on animals in a attempt to create the perfect life form, etc., etc. And some of the sequences, particularly the ones where we see Rocket Raccoon during the creation of him and some of the other animals that he was placed with, are, even though everything we're seeing on screen is CGI, it's all motion captured and portrayed by humans and no animals are on set. It's really, really, really upsetting to watch. It doesn't feel like a children's movie at all. It feels like a movie for adults, and I would definitely bear that in mind before watching it, and just be aware that you're going to see some images that are not very pleasant to watch. But it's in service of the story. It's in service of really kind of selling this villain as being a truly awful, horrendous character. Yeah. I thought the actual performance of the villain was fine. For me, felt a little bit too similar to Lee Pace, who played Ronan the Accuser in the original Guardians movie, kind of plays it really, really straight.
Okay.
Gets worked up by how silly the Guardians are and kind of shouts and yells a lot, and kind of exactly the same as the villain in the original. But the things that he's doing are what make him kind of an imposing threat, because he is just horrible. So yeah, a really big success for Marvel. A weird one because the guy that made it is immediately leaving to go off and make DC movies, which is a strange one.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Good stuff. I'd recommend it. You should watch it. Check it out.
Find a film that does it in English, I will.
It'll hit Disney Plus soon enough. Ant-Man and the Wasp is coming out on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Next week, I think.
Yes.
Those are all the movies. Quickly talk about a couple of other things. I've been very excited this weekend because the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has been released. So for the first time in over a year, I've had a reason to turn on my Nintendo Switch, which is good.
Is that long that you haven't played with your Nintendo Switch?
They don't put out many games. They put out a Metroid game, I think, last year, Metroid Dread, which was good. And there's been maybe a couple of other things, but I've not really played a proper Switch game for a long time. But now this one's arrived. There was a terrible moment where it was meant to be. I ordered it off the Nintendo website, and it was due to be delivered to me the day the game came out on Friday, as we're recording. And it never arrived, and I got Royal Mail sent me tracking updates, and it arrived in Manchester at 1:45 on Friday morning, and then just didn't get another update again all day, and I was like, what's going on? Where's my game? And I went and double checked my order on the Nintendo website on Friday evening, and I could have cried, because while Nintendo are very good at making games, they clearly are not good at making online order forms. Because do you have the thing? Do you know, have you seen the thing where you're ordering something online and it says put your postcode in and then we'll find your address? Yeah. Put my postcode in, found my address, clicked on my address. What I didn't notice at the time was that even though the address that popped up from the postcode finder had my flat number on it, when it pasted it into the order form, it deleted the flat number, so it just had the building I live in. And not the flat I live in, making it impossible for Royal Mail to deliver the parcel. And when I noticed that on Friday evening, there was nothing I could do about it, but I was like, if this has been returned to sender, I'm not going to get it. I've had a long week at work. I was looking forward to relaxing with this. Oh my God, my life is worthless now. What am I going to do? And then I got up on Saturday morning and went to the local delivery office and was like, please, can you find my Zelda? And he was like, oh yeah, it's just here. There you go.
Oh, wonderful. That's good.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I can rest easy. This is the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which came out 5-6 years ago now, 2018, I think. And was immediately hailed as one of the greatest video games ever made, one of the best video games ever made. It got perfect review scores all across the game review industry. I put probably over 100 hours into it.
Wow.
It's an amazing... The Breath of the Wild is an incredible video game, really heavily influenced by Ghibli, which is appropriate because we'll be talking about Ghibli more in next week's episode. In particular, really heavily referenced by Princess Mononoke. In the original Breath of the Wild, you're exploring the enormous world of Hyrule, which is covered in mountains and forests and lakes and all sorts of countryside. And there's this corruption that is spreading throughout the land and destroying the land, and it's very, very similar to Princess Mononoke in a you know, if you're going to take inspiration from something, take it from one of the best things ever made. And yeah, that game was amazing. I wasn't really that excited about this new one because we did it. They did it with Breath of the Wild. What's the point in making the same one again? And it looked quite similar. And it is ultimately quite similar because it's set in the same Hyrule, so the map is kind of the same. But they've introduced so many new elements now. There's an entire underground world you can go and explore in this new video game. The game opens with something happening that causes all these ruins of the past to rise up into the air and create these floating sky islands, so you can explore the air in this new one. And in the original, you got these sort of magic spell type things, and one of them you got was like telekinesis that let you pick up objects and float them around to move boulders out of your way and stuff like that. In the new game, they've changed it. It's got the name Ultra Hand now, but basically what you can do is you can pick up objects and make them sort of glue themselves to other objects and create kind of create vehicles almost. Like, for example, there's a bit early on where you're on one side of a big lake and you have to get to the other side of the lake, and if you tried to swim across, you'd run out of energy and drown. But by the side of the lake, there's all these logs and these like old mechanical fans that when you turn them on, they start blowing air out. And you pick up two of the logs, you can attach them together to create a raft, and then you place one of these fans on the back and turn it on, and it starts motoring you, and you've made a little speedboat, and it takes you across the lake. Nice. And it's pretty cool, and I've used it since to make hot air balloons and trams and mine carts. That it's got this whole world of like creation around it, which is great because it's an opportunity in a video game to like allow the player to create their own fun in a way. They just give you the tools, and then you go off and you start just messing around, attaching things to different things and seeing what you can build and make and create. And it's adding a sort of Minecraft-esque level of creation into a huge open world adventure story game, and it's so cool. I've played about 10 hours of it over the course of yesterday and this morning, and it seems amazing. I'm really excited to play more of it, but it seems like they've actually managed to create another masterpiece off the back of the last masterpiece, which is impressive. Normally when you make a masterpiece, the next product from that person tends to be a bit of a step back because it's hard to do it twice, but they seem like they've done it.
Yeah, Zelda's pretty cool actually. Which one was 3D? I used to own a Nintendo DS, and that was a game that I loved. Zelda. I think it was the one with was it the magical flute or something?
The Ocarina of Time.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
one
played
of the best games I've made.
Yeah, and but I stopped playing, and that's maybe because why I don't play video games. Because at one point I couldn't go forward at all. Like I couldn't, and I was just like, I was getting so frustrated, so I gave up. Yeah, but that was it. Awesome, sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it still has a real Ghibli-esque vibe to it. These huge open plains with not many people, nature's taken over, and yeah, it's pretty wonderful. So that's it. The very last thing I want to talk about is something I posted about this week on Instagram, so I thought it was worth discussing if anyone's come here from there. An online web series called Total Forgiveness. This was made in 2019 and it's available. I think it's available, at least the first episode or so is available on YouTube, but I've been watching it on this streaming service I've been checking out recently called Dropout, which is the current home of content made by College Humor.
Okay, yeah.
Who are an online comedy company that I avoided for many years because I hated the name College Humor. It made me assume all of the stuff that they did would be really rubbish. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
But it isn't necessarily. I talked last in our top 5 podcast episode, which was last week. I talked about the Worlds Beyond Number podcast, which I discovered through the Dungeons and Dragons series Dimension 20, which is on Dropout. So I've been watching that on Dropout, and I thought I'll check out some other stuff. And they've got loads of things. They've got a game show called Actually, which is just where there's 3 comedians and a host, and the host will read out statements about geeky things like Star Wars or Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and within the statement there'll be one thing that's wrong, and someone will have to buzz in and say actually and correct them, because there's nothing that nerds like to do more than correct people.
Yeah.
And that's a very easy to watch, entertaining show. There's another show called Game Changer, which is a game show where the actual game being played changes every episode, and the contestants aren't told what the game is going to be until the show has started.
Okay.
And that's been everything from, there was an episode where there was a huge mouth brought out onto the set, and they'd get played a noise, and they had to pick a piece of food off a table, not real food, like plastic stuff that matched the noise that had been played. And it started off with simple stuff like a cow, so you give it grass. And then got to the point where there was like an impression of Winnie the Pooh, so you had to work out to give it honey. That was really entertaining. And then like the very next episode was one where they got sent out into the street and they had to try and find hidden secret agents by saying phrases that had been given to members of the public, and it turned it almost into a hidden camera show. And it's cool, the level of inventiveness going on in that. But the one I really want to talk about is Total Forgiveness, which follows two of the cast members of College Humor, Ali Beardsley, who's a really, really funny comedian, and Grant O'Brien, who's another very funny comedian, who's tall. And they both have enormous levels of student loan debt, as many people in America do, and as people all over the world do. I think in the first episode they say that Grant O'Brien has $95,000 of debt.
Crazy.
Pays over $700 a month towards it, and that only covers the interest, so isn't actually.
Oh, what the? Oh my god.
And Ali Beardsley has similarly $55,000 of debt, and again, pays most of that. And they both have well-paid jobs in the entertainment industry, and they're still crippled by this debt. So they pitch a show to College Humor, which is to every episode they get set horrible challenges to do by College Humor, and then they pay. If they pass the challenge, they get money paid to them to pay off their student loan debt, which is quite a clever way of getting your boss to help pay off your debt. But College Humor, Sam Reich, who hosts Game Changer and is the CEO of College Humor, changes it because it does feel inappropriate for your boss to be like, eat this dirt off the floor and I'll give you some money towards your debt. Yeah. So they change it so that Grant and Ali have to think of challenges for the other one to do, and they challenge each other, which feels much more appropriate.
Yeah.
And then the idea is if they pass the challenge, they get money. If they fail the challenge, the person who set the challenge would get money. So they either split the amount or it all goes to one person, or, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So it kind of starts off as a reality competition show on the edge of something like Jackass or something like that. It starts off with, like, in the first episode, the challenges are that Grant has to interview a lawyer who's an expert on student loans while he's covered in leeches. From a professional leech alternative medicine company.
Okay.
And Ali has to Skype for half an hour with an ex of theirs whilst eating an obscenely hot, spicy meal from a Thai restaurant. And then it progresses into much more intense stuff from there. The thing I like about the show is that it shines a light on some of the issues facing people of our sort of generation across the entire world, and it's not just student loan debt, it's all sorts of debt that people end up in order to just be able to live their lives because of the insane world we live in.
Yeah.
So that's a really important conversation to be having. It also works because Ali and Grant clearly love and care for each other in a big way. They're really, really good friends. And over the course of the show, when you introduce this kind of competitive financial thing into it, you see the real impact that can have on a friendship, and it gets incredibly real and intense in the halfway point and towards the end. And I won't spoil how it ends, but yeah, it really goes to a lot of places and ends up being much more than just setting stupid dares for each other to do.
Wow.
And it's a really beautiful show, and I like for the fact that it just exists on YouTube and then on this Dropout service means that not many people will have seen it, and I'd really thoroughly recommend people go and find it and check it out, because it's a really great piece of entertainment, piece of art that these people have made, and it has a lot to say about the current state of the world in another way, as well as being and also it's exceptionally funny. Not to, it needs to be clear, it's very, very funny. So yeah, Total Forgiveness I'd really recommend people check out. And that's my culture catch up for the week. Couple of films. Go and watch Three Musketeers, Black Society and Guardians of the Galaxy. Go and play Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and come home and watch Total Forgiveness.
Wonderful.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Wonderful. Sounds
Yeah.
all good.
Thanks. What have you got to do?
Oh, I've been really bad this week because I've I on the 8th of June, a series that I really like is coming out with their fourth and final season, which is Never Have I Ever. So I binged watched 3 seasons. Like,
Wow.
yeah, which is kind of crazy. But good, you know, I know exactly what happened. I completely forgot what was like the first season. And but yeah, I spoke about this season in the podcast before, but it's about it stars Maitreyi Ramakrishnan, who plays Devi, a geek, a nerd, which they call themselves, that is desperate to find a boyfriend. Well, she obsesses about finding a boyfriend and being a cool girl in school because of basically trying to deal with the death of her father, and so she fixates on other things rather than think of mourning him. And so, the first season kind of concentrates a lot on that, and it's quite sad. And she's got friends, of course, and there's the cool guys, and it's set in a high school. I love that kind of stuff, but it's also quite deep and you know, tackles with the idea of loss and family, and it's really interesting. If I had to say which one is best, I think if I had to do a top 3 of the seasons, I would say number 3, season 2. Don't think it's that great. I think they kind of lost their way, and then season 3 is pretty good. So number 2 and number 1, season 1, because it's the best. So I hope season 4 is gonna end this series well.
Have they said why it's finishing, or does it just feel like a natural?
I think it feels like a natural thing because it's just high school. So high school in America is 3 years, I think.
Sure.
Wait, how long is high school in the US? I think it's 3 years.
20
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, it's 4 years. So I guess 4 seasons, 4 years.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Yes, because after season 4 of Buffy, she goes to college in season 4.
Yeah.
So she must not be in her first year in the first season of Buffy.
I kind of wish, I hope it'd be nice if they follow Davy to college and there's a different group of friends, but
like in Buffy.
Yeah, but her family, her mother and her cousin are quite important in the story, so I'm not sure how we're going to cope without her Indian mum being an Indian mum. Super protective Indian mum. So I'm not sure, but I'm not ready to say goodbye, but it'd be nice if they followed her to college. I forgot to say before is season created by Mindy Kaling and Lang Fisher. Yes, so it's very good. I like it. So I spent a lot of time doing that, but I also watched a film that I've been wanting to watch for years, but it's a Spike Lee movie, and I put off Spike Lee films because I just don't want. I just know they're good, but I am going to be upset at the end. Right. So I'm like, no. But I watched Spike Lee's 1989 film "Do the Right Thing."
Oh, brilliant film.
Oh, I think it's one of the best films I've ever seen in my life. Like the film finished and I was like, this is incredible, amazing. The way it's directed, the what it is about, the music, the characters, it's incredible. I can't believe I put it off for so long, but the last 30 minutes are like.
That's pretty
it was
emotional.
Very emotional, the last 30 minutes. And if any of our listeners haven't watched this film, watch it. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's just it's got a great cast. Spike Lee is in it as Mookie, and then it's got Danny Aiello, John Turturro, and somebody else which I never seen before, and I can't find his name now. as Sal and his sons who own a pizza place. And then there's Rosie Perez, Samuel L. Jackson, Giancarlo Esposito's in it.
Yeah,
I
playing
was
a
just-
very
I was like,
different character to what we used to nowadays.
playing Bugging Out, and I was like looking at him, I was like, I know that guy. Who is he? And then it's like
Yep.
Giancarlo Esposito, incredible. He's incredible in it. And then
The guy's amazing. The guy that has the boombox. I can't remember his name.
Radio Rahim, played by Bill
Radio
Nunn.
Rahim.
Oh,
Amazing.
because you don't see Bill Nunn very often, and I'll always remember him in Sister Act as the cop, and I love
He's
him.
in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies as well, playing J.K. Simmons's assistant editor or something. He's great,
and I love him. And Radio Rahim is incredible, and many more. It's a great cast, and it's about one day. It's set in one day in a suburb in Brooklyn suburb, I think.
Okay.
Is that Brooklyn suburb? I don't understand America.
It's set on a street. It's set on a
set
block
on a street in Brooklyn. And it's just a day in this multicultural community, mainly black, but there is Sal and his sons that own a pizza place, and then there are the Latinos, and then they just arrived the Koreans and opened a shop. And it's just a day that goes on, is the hottest day of the year, and it's just the life of this street in Brooklyn. But the more the day goes on, there's this kind of crescendo that, is everything going to be okay? And then by the end, there's this like climax of, oh shit, oh shit, and it's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But then the day starts again at the end, and then it's gonna start again, like nothing has changed.
Mm-hmm. Life goes on,
and the same problems will go on, and what happens at the end is not new. It's seen all the time in America, against especially the black men. And the fact that this film was not done in 1989 and is still so relevant now is amazing.
Yeah, it is a brilliant movie.
Yeah.
Everyone should watch it.
Yeah.
And it is, it's as relevant today.
Yeah.
More relevant today almost than it was when it was made.
In a way, I feel that way, because I feel like we're going back to a place where we're getting so divided and fighting each other rather than actually fighting the people that we should fight. We're not getting paid enough. We haven't got the infrastructure that we should have, and we look at the other person next to us rather than looking up and going, no, it's our governments that need to change something. So yeah, it's and it does look a lot into like dynamics of racism and racial tension and miscommunication, because whatever happens towards the end is all to do with miscommunication and not wanting to listen to the other person. If Sal just listened to Bugging Out and just decided to maybe acknowledge that the reason why his pizza place is still open is because of his clientele, and maybe acknowledge that and do whatever Bugging Out asks, maybe it wouldn't happen to the end. But because we need to be divided, that doesn't happen, and then there's a tragedy, and it's just kind of it could be so simple with communication, but I don't think I think hatred does finance a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm just gonna watch lots of Spike Lee movies because I have to watch them, whether they upset me or not. And because they're incredible. Well, this is incredible. And I've watched the other two films I watched by Spike Lee previously were Malcolm X, and Da 5 Bloods. So I've only watched 3 now, and so I need to do more. And when it came out, actually, this film, was quite they had a lot of it was quite controversial film, and apparently I read today on IMDb that Kim Basinger caused controversy in the 1990 Oscars because she said, "We've got 5 great films here, and they're great for one reason, because they tell the truth. There is one film missing from this list that deserves to be on it, because ironically, it might tell the biggest truth of all, and that's Do the Right Thing."
Wow.
Yeah. Because that year, I think Driving Miss Daisy won the Oscar or was nominated, and it's just like, it's just kind of like the racial tension that there is in America that is portrayed in Do the Right Thing, and this kind of like whitewashed kind of like, oh, we can be friends.
We can all be friends if you just drive me around.
Yeah. And then Spike Lee kind of criticized a lot of white critics because they were saying that this film would incite anger and cause riots in the black population.
Yeah, it's not the film.
It's not the film.
But it's crazy that in 1990, Driving Miss Daisy won Best Picture.
Yeah.
And Spike Lee was ignored for Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
Then in 2019,
Yeah.
Green Book, which is the same film with the same message, it just flipped. This time the white guy's driving and the black guy's in the back. Won Best Picture.
Did it?
And Black Klansman was ignored.
Oh my goodness. I didn't.
And Spike Lee tried to storm out the theatre, and so
So again, he lost to somebody like
lost again to the whitewashed. This is what people romantically want to think race relations is, rather than his true account from a valid perspective. Yeah, he's a poetic irony of very cruel proportions. I think there.
Yeah.
Because Black Klansman, if you haven't seen it, is amazing.
And then I watched another film which was ridiculous, just to kind of like, I was like, oh, I'll just watch something light and fluffy that made me even angrier after that. And I watched this film with 2014 film with Lily Collins and Sam Claflin. Okay. You know why? Just because TikTok kept pushing this film on me, and I was like, oh, I'll just watch it. And it just actually made one of the romantic stories that make me angry. It's called Love, Rosie, and it just
called what?
Love, Rosie. And it just portrays everything that is wrong with the idea of love and male and female friendship. And it's just so, it was just so annoying. Just like, I'll just watch all the Spike Lee movies I can, because I can't believe that it's just it's just so bad. And it just doesn't make any sense, and it's just not great. And also there's at the beginning there's this really terrible scene. There's Suki Waterhouse in it as well. Is her name Suki? Suki Waterhouse. And there's a shot of Suki Waterhouse, and the director basically there was no reasoning at all, that he just shot her from the bottom, and so you can see her ass.
Right.
And I'm like, why are you doing that? You're just and that from that shot I was like, oh, but I finished watching it. It was terrible. Never mind, let's move on.
So don't watch Love, Rosie.
No, watch Love, Rosie. I listened to the National album, their first 2 pages of Frankenstein. I really liked it, actually. I'm not a National fan, and I never really enjoyed their music. It might be the gloomy weather there is in Italy at the moment, but it's really, really good.
Did any songs stand out as good?
I quite like, I think it's the one before the Ice Machines.
Oh, okay. Ice Machines.
I like that one.
I didn't,
and
that's a good song.
I think that was the one that was like, oh, that's nice. And I think there was one, I quite like that one. And the last one is quite sad. Made me really sad.
Oh, Send It to Me. Yeah,
It's like, oh.
I mean, the whole album.
That's maybe why I liked it more. The whole album's got this kind of like melancholy sadness to it, and I was like, oh, it goes well with the weather in Italy at the moment. So it's wonderful. And of course, this isn't helping. Featuring Phoebe Bridgers is pretty nice. I think her voice just can carry any musician, you know. Like in the song, in the album with SZA, when she comes out, Ghost in the Machine, when you don't expect Phoebe Bridgers to come out, and then she does, and just like she just elevates the song and makes it like ethereal. Yeah, just like her voice is so.
She seems to be doing music with every artist alive at the moment. It's every other day someone will release a song with Phoebe Bridgers on it as well. But not
no, absolutely. I think it's great. And then I listened to 2 of the podcasts that you recommended.
Well, should we jump in? Should we call this the homework section?
Yes, let's go to homework.
Sit down at the back and be quiet and get out your book because it's time to discuss your homework. Now.
Okay, so homework. You've had some podcasts that I recommended, so you've gone off and listened to some.
So I listened first to your number 4, If Books Could Kill.
Okay.
And I listened to the episode Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers.
Nice.
That was really interesting, actually, how like a writer could just like write a book on nothing and no data. It's quite fascinating that the moment when they talk about the chapter on Korea and why the planes fall down, because
that blew my mind.
I was like, how is that written in a book?
So for anyone who's listening who hasn't listened to this podcast, there's an idea in the book that Korean airplanes are more likely to... You've listened to this more recently, so correct me if I'm wrong, but Korean airplanes are more likely to crash because Korean society is so hinged on A, being polite, and B, deferring to your superiors, that airline crews are scared to tell the pilot when there's a problem, so they don't, and then the plane crashes. What Malcolm Gladwell leaves out is he then states several Korean plane crashes as evidence of this thing, without mentioning that, is it at least 3 of those crashes were because the plane was shot down by Russia or something?
Which, no, we shouldn't laugh. It's just the fact that this guy... But
it's laughable because it just kind of makes you realise that you need to be so careful and sceptical of so much that's presented 100%. As fact in the world.
And it was interesting to listen to them. I haven't listened very often to American podcasts, so it took me a while to get into it. And when somebody goes straight to the negative, so before reading the book, they already had their opinion on Michael Gladwell, is that his name? Malcolm Gladwell. And so I was like, sometimes when people already have an opinion, then they'll read their book hypercritically. But then this book, so I was just a bit like, oh, come on, But then this book
I've definitely listened to episodes where they will be fair when it calls to be fair.
But it was my first time listening, but I can understand why, because this Malcolm Gladwell seems like an absolute, like.
But he's like a national treasure in the UK. People take it. People take his word as gospel. Is it that book that's also got the chapter about how this sounds racist? This is what's in the book. I'm not saying this. That Chinese people are good at maths because it's hard to farm rice.
Yeah, something about that. And he's just got this thing about Asia, and then they're like, that. Just come on. Is Malcolm Gladwell English?
I'm 95% sure he is, but I'll check.
Yeah, so I think.
Yeah, he's English-born Canadian journalist. Okay. So he's Canadian, but he was born in England. in Fareham, which is
Yeah.
Portsmouth.
And it's quite funny actually. Like they have good banter, the two hosts, and it's quite funny. And I I like how they go chapter by chapter and they talk about it. And yeah, I probably will listen to it more. I thought it was
because also the nice thing is that all their podcasts are like under an hour.
Yeah.
They're not. It's not a slog to. Because I feel like our podcast is more than an hour sometimes. We're just having a chat. It's
Yeah.
like a nice chill
Yeah.
time. Podcasts like that are throwing
Yeah.
information at you. Once they go over an hour or so, they can be a bit of
yeah.
a slog. So it's nice that they're quite. They practice brevity. in their
Yes,
podcast.
definitely. And then, I like that one. And then I listened to your number 5 podcast, which is Finding Drago.
Oh, Finding
Yeah,
Drago.
the first thread, which is about a book that was written. I think it was written because I haven't listened to the second episode yet. I only listened to the first one about what happened to Drago, who is the character from Rocky IV, the Russian character in Rocky IV. What happened to him after he got defeated in Moscow by Rocky Balboa? And it's fascinating because I didn't know that Rocky IV ended communism. Well, yeah, I didn't realize that was the case. A bit like David Hasselhoff, bringing down the Berlin Wall. I didn't realize that it was such an important piece of propaganda.
It's always a piece of American pop culture,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, it's amazing. David Hasselhoff and Rocky Balboa have like ended, put down the wall and united Europe again, and got rid of the Soviet Union. Yeah, so I didn't realize that.
Got rid of the Soviet Union to replace it with something so much better.
100%. But who knows? It's very funny. Like the main host, which I don't remember the name. He's
Alexi
yeah,
Teriopoulos.
he's quite funny and very entertaining, and
Cameron James.
Yeah, and I like that he explains why he likes this film Rocky IV, because of kind of his family that is were communists in Greece, and they went to Australia to escape being persecuted and stuff, which is nice because it's very rare that you hear socialism and communism talked sometimes in a positive aspect. We're so against communism, socialism, and I thought that was a really nice kind of putting it out there. We don't talk about like capitalism and right wing being like the evil of evil, well, apart from fascism, but it's back on trend, so I think but never mind. So it's quite nice that he explains that side of him that could be problematic to some people. And I like that because you expose yourself. It's like, this is the kind of person I am. This is the kind of person this is the family I come from, and I don't care what you think. And I like that. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating that somebody has or hasn't, I'm not sure because I have to listen to the second episode, has written a book about this fictitious character of Drago.
On mountains
yes. The funny thing is that apparently when they speak Russian in Rocky IV, there was no, like, they were just speaking gibberish with a Russian accent. So they phoned a friend, a Russian friend, and he was saying, yeah, that's not Russian, that's just gibberish. I was like, oh my God, like, what people got away with in films once upon a time is insane.
Why would you bother to do the research on that? You don't have access to the internet. You're not going to go and hire a Russian.
You're Sylvester Stallone. You've got enough money to...
you just make it up. You just go...
True. True. You can't hire a Russian because Russians were the bad guys.
Sure.
I think I'm going to listen to more of this. So
Oh,
Yeah,
good. You
yeah.
definitely should. It's
Because it's really funny.
it's a real journey you go on in that.
Yeah, and I liked them. Yeah, they were very good to listen to. Very kind of like, and you didn't really have to like, you could miss some bits, which was fine, and kind of yeah, I like them. Thank you for recommending them to me.
Good. I'm glad 2 for 2
Yeah,
so far.
I've got 3 more that I need to listen, which is Watch Out for Fireballs, which is kind of video games. I'm gonna put that for last because I don't play video games, so maybe. But
that's fair.
yeah, I'm gonna listen to the others soon.
Good. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Worlds Beyond Number. Very good podcast. I recommend that. Along with, what was my number 1 again? I know, because it's my number 1. Oh, The Weekly Planet. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, good stuff. That's so good. Awesome sauce. Right, well, before we wrap up for the day, would you like to share some MyTube?
Yes, I've got one MyTube for you today.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first, or shall we stick with me going first?
Yeah, you can go first.
What do you want to do? Okay, I've got a couple of different things to share with you. Let's start here. Guess who's back, Alex?
Guess who's back? I don't know. Who's back?
These are back.
Who's that? Tenacious. Ah, Tenacious D.
Tenacious D are back.
Nice.
You a big fan of Tenacious D?
Of the odd song, yeah, but
I think that's
But I don't think I've ever listened to their albums.
I mean, they've only got a handful.
Yeah,
but some of them are all right. Yeah, they've got some good songs. Tribute is probably
yes.
their big famous song.
Oh, I love that song.
It's not the greatest song ever made, but it
yeah,
it's a tribute.
Yeah.
They're back.
Awesome.
They're back with a new single, seemingly off a new album that has not yet been announced, called Video Games. Nice. It's only a minute and a half long, so let's have a little look at what you think of this.
Okay. It's an animation,
it is an animation,
which is wonderful. That's why I was confused by your post on Instagram. I was like, what is that?
Well, it's Jack Black. If anyone doesn't know, Tenacious D is this sort of comedy rock band, but with Jack Black and Kyle Gass. Jack Black, obviously, international Hollywood superstar. But they're both very talented musicians, so that they are good music, but funny as well. Let's see what this song Video Games has to offer us. You ready?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh my god, Jack Black is this awesome animation and the other guy is not. What? What's the name of the other guy?
Kyle Gass.
Yes. Like, he's just a simple doodle. Oh my god. And now he's Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh. He's naked. Wow. Oh!
Violent.
Very violent. He just... Oh. So he's saying he doesn't play video games because they're not video games, but they're pieces of art.
Exactly, They are pieces of art.
Oh, I wish I was good at them. And I would play video games too. Love it. Oh, he's dead.
That's it.
He'll be
That's the
fine.
one. It's on the album.
I love it. It's awesome.
What do you think?
I love it. It's so cool.
Pretty good, right?
It looks amazing.
Yeah, man.
And is an album coming out?
I'm excited about that. Well, I mean, they haven't announced the album, but the end of that video, he says, that's the one, it's on the album,
okay.
so... I guess there's an album coming out. I don't really know. Okay, so that's Tenacious D. There's another band that have just released a new song that I'd like you to listen to a little bit of. We probably won't watch the whole music video here because it's like 4.5 minutes long. But have you heard the new song by Queens of the Stone Age?
No, I haven't. I haven't heard of them for a while. Are they back?
Well, they're back. Their last album, Villains, came out in
1925.
2017, I think. 2017 or 2018.
Yeah.
And it was you're going to be annoyed at me now, but I mean, this is just a true statement. It was produced by Mark Ronson, and it's rubbish. It's the worst album they've ever done.
It's just because you just don't like Mark Ronson. There's something wrong with you.
Honestly, no. It's so... Right, I'm going to play you this.
Yeah.
This is what Queens of the Stone Age should sound like. And I'm going to play you a little bit of the single from the last album. And you'll see the difference that I mean. I was not a fan of the last album, and I tried. I really did. I
think you just went down like you just went down bitter.
No, not at all. There's one reason I don't like Mark Ronson is I had time for him, and then that Queens of Stone Age album he produced, I was so bad. Anyway, Justin Hawkins spoiling a bit there. You can see on the results page. Best song I've heard in years.
Oh.
Just Justin Hawkins of The Darkness, big fan of this song. He's done a review of it. What do you think of it, though? That's what I want to know. I don't care about Justin Hawkins.
Emotion Sickness.
It's called Emotion Sickness.
That's without the E, that's a Phoebe Bridgers song.
Oh, yeah, Emotion. That's very true.
Yeah.
So this new Queens of Stone Age album they've announced, it's called In Times New Roman. And every single song is a weird little pun. So hang on, before we get to actually watching this video, I'm going to read you some of the other songs on this album, because it's... So, Obscenery... Paper Machete, Carnavoya. Did you get it? Carnavoya?
No, I didn't get the one before either.
Paper Mache, but Paper Machete.
Ah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Carnavoya is like carnivore and also voyeur.
Ah,
like
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What the peephole say. Not people, but
peephole. Peephole, okay.
Yeah. And then there's a song just called Sicily, which is not a pun.
Okay, there's a man with a head on fire. It looks very old school. Something. It looks a bit like 80s, kind of. Oh.
Got a bit of a groove going on.
Yeah. Very trippy, this video.
Yeah, it is trippy.
Yeah.
Big time trippy video.
It looks very much like a video from the 80s, you know, when they were trying to be all experimental with their videos.
Yeah. It does.
Okay.
That'll gives you enough of a taste.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Okay. I don't know. I think I have to listen to the album.
But you can see that sort of grungy sound that they have.
Yeah.
The songs they did with Mark Ronson sounded more like this.
So the way you used to do.
The way you used to do.
Okay. Ah, so a little bit more groovy, like a, you know, groovy Queens of the Stone Age. Okay, no, no.
Do you see?
No, put it away.
Do you see?
No.
Do you see
No.
the problem?
No.
Do you see the problem,
No.
Alex?
Oh my God, is that real?
That's a real song.
Is that real? Is that Queens of the Stone Age? No, just no, please. Why?
That was the lead.
Why
That was the lead single.
Why can you not leave me in ignorance sometimes, George?
Because you go, oh, well, Mark Ronson, you should give him more of a...
Fine, I hate him now. I hate him.
Like, at least that other song I just played you sounds like Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah, I didn't like the video, but, But I didn't feel physically sick. What is that? Why does he have a queef? Queef? Not queef.
Oh, I mean, he always has a sort of a... His hair's always been a bit...
not that. Not that. That is a terrible haircut. Don't tell me that his hair has always been like that.
His hair's always... His hair's
Not
pretty...
with that much gel. Not the Mark Ronson queef. Queef or quiff? Queef seems...
Quiff.
Quiff.
Queef is...
yeah.
Queef is
It's a different thing.
He doesn't have that on his head.
Well, he might as well have with this stupid song.
No, pause it. Okay, so, some music there. Interesting stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Meg 2?
Meg 2.
Ah, I thought it
You
was
ready for Meg
Megan.
2?
I don't even know what Meg
No.
1 is.
Alex.
Have I missed something? Because I remember, wasn't the Meg a thing that we had in Japan full of alcohol?
Oh, I think it was, but that was just a... Yeah.
Ah, okay.
That was like someone's name for their big barrel of alcohol. Wasn't
Okay.
it? The Meg was a movie.
Yeah.
Came out, I don't know, 2018, 2019, starring Jason Statham, where he fights a giant shark.
Wow. Called Meg?
Called, Megalodon is the name for the prehistoric giant shark, right? So the Meg 2, The Trench. This is notable because it looks sick as hell, first of all. Second of all, it's been directed by Ben Wheatley.
Ben Wheatley. Remind me.
Author of making low-budget British horror movies that I adore, like Kill List.
Kill List, Ben Wheatley. Wow.
Yes. Has made...
See, but you're already going in a positive note.
No, because because Ben Wheatley makes small, little, weird, disturbing British movies. He's made a Hollywood action blockbuster of Jason Statham. So let's see what you make of this.
Is Jason Statham in it?
Yeah.
Jason Statham. He's like, if it's bad, he's in it.
But he makes it bearable.
Okay, yeah, I do. Yeah.
I think. Other than the new Guy Ritchie movie, Operation Fortune Ruse the Gare, which is atrociously terrible.
Yeah.
Don't watch that movie. Awful film. And Jason Statham doesn't put in a great performance, but this, he's good in the original Meg, so let's have a look and see.
Oh, great CGI.
The
Wow, even better CGI.
Yeah, not bad CGI.
Okay, for 65 million. What's this thing about 65 million years? Everybody's obsessed.
It's when the dinosaurs were around. It's an easy number
Okay.
that means dinosaurs.
One species ruled the world, which were dinosaurs. So it's not a giant shark anymore, it's dinosaurs. But a megalodon is a oh my god. Ah no, it's a
It's a very big shark,
it's a
Alex.
very big shark.
Like a really big shark.
Wow.
Not like Jaws,
It just
which
popped
was
out of the
quite
water. Jason Statham is doing some pull-ups.
We need your help. We're detecting increased aquatic activity.
Big. Lots of people now saying numbers, talking
Yes.
about stupid nonsense.
Yes.
All the stuff you want in a movie like this.
Yes.
We're detecting increased biometric hazards.
Yes.
200 million feet deep in the trench of the sea.
This was a bad idea.
Get in your pod thing.
Wow. Okay. And where... so there's lots of bioluminescent stuff.
Bioluminescent things.
So it's like Alien but under the sea.
We don't know anything about what's under the sea, do we?
Under
It could
the
be anything
sea.
down there.
Under the sea. Oh,
Look at the size of Meg.
look how big Meg is.
Meg's huge.
But they must know that Meg existed because there's a Meg 1. So what's
Yeah, but
happening?
they killed that Meg.
There's a 2
They
Meg.
blew that Meg apart. But now there's 3
massive
Megs.
Megs. Wow. There's some like good up-tempo music that might be
Yeah.
a quite fun movie to watch.
You'd hope so.
What happened last time? You don't wanna know. Okay. Wow, Jason. Meg eats people.
This was always always afraid of this, but I was also thinking.
Oh, it's not Meg-proof.
Not at all.
Not at all Meg-proof.
Oh, giant tentacles.
Yes.
That's not Meg. What's that?
Wow. Okay, is Jason Statham on a jet ski, trying to kill Meg?
Gonna straight up murder that shark.
Wow. Okay. I don't agree with bad shark movies though. They should stop.
I get that, but they're never gonna stop.
Yeah, but it's not fair, is it? Poor sharks.
No, but also, I don't know. People shouldn't be so stupid.
Well, George. Yeah. So.
We've watched a few videos today, but do you want to watch this?
Oh, I haven't watched actually the trailer for Dune 2.
Do you want to check it out?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Because you liked Dune, right?
I love Dune. I'm going to watch it again before I watch this one.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Dune Part 1, Dune Part 2.
Okay.
Keep on Duning. You ready?
Yes, let's go Duning. So we have Timothée Chalamet Bing Bong and Zendaya.
When you see sand here,
Two very good people.
Yeah.
you dive in.
But there's so much more coming,
Yes.
it seems.
Yes, it's called swimming.
And Zendaya is speaking finally. She's part of the movie.
She's a character. She's not just a
Yes.
Vogue photo shoot anymore.
Yes, and there's Florence.
Who's this now?
Oh yes, Florence.
That great over the top orchestral music,
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful
Hans Zimmer doing his
scenes
thing.
with Denis Villeneuve, is that his name?
Just a quick shot of Austin Butler
Yes.
looking crazy.
Oh,
Leah Seydoux here.
yes! Wow,
Leah Seydoux.
everybody wants to be in it.
Why would you not want to be in it? Although we don't get to see any Christopher Walken in this trailer, he's in this as well.
Ever had a dream about your first
Okay, so it's gonna get the bigger wormy worm to come up. Roto. Oh, Xavier Bardem. Is that his name? What was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
We all know that. Be
Oh, he's gonna do it. Is he going to? Oh, he's gonna ride a worm. Oh, it's gonna be so exciting. I'm already excited. Where is the worm? Wormy.
nothing fancy.
Yes. Oh, this is a
Look at
massive
him go.
spoiler. He's doing it though.
We all knew he was going to do it.
You will never.
Oh. So good.
We gave them something to hope for.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
Oh, it's a revolution. It's a revolution. The revolution will be televised on June. I've got goosebumps.
Looks like they've done it again.
Yeah, it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that film. Yeah, it looks very, very good. What have you got to show?
I've got to show you a band called Atarashigako from Japan, and they have become quite famous through TikTok. But
TikTok.
but I think you might enjoy them. And the song is called Otonablu. There's a little dance, of course, and there's a very popular song in Japan now. And as soon as I watched it, I was like, I think George is going to appreciate this. Are you ready?
I'm ready, show me.
Okay.
So they're saying it's four schoolgirls or four people dressed as schoolgirls. And they are talking, they're introducing themselves.
And these are the these are the middle school uniforms, but they're adult women doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
They've just formed up like Voltron.
Yeah. Yeah. They're very serious at certain points when they're like when they're telling what the song is, but it's something to do with a boy. It's a song to do with a boy. How you act when you like a boy.
Okay.
George is too stunned to speak.
It's very it's hard to describe what's going on. They're dancing, but then the singer, she's singing about wanting mature love. I like it. It's their dancing is very like it's not the sort of polished dancing that you normally see from like traditional J-pop, is it?
Yeah.
It's much more. They have a sense of like fun.
Yes. Yeah.
Like they're kind of messing around a bit, but
yeah, and it's the classic kind of like if you're not like traditionally cool and beautiful in Japan, woman or man, then you kind of become a caricature of yourself, and that's the way to become popular. And the song is not bad, you know.
No, it's a fun song. Why has it become big on TikTok?
Because they like the dance, so they do the little dance when there's
so it's people doing the dance.
Yeah.
From the.
Yeah, and I think they're like underdogs because it's not really J-pop. It's more kind of like a fun pop, and they do.
Yeah.
And this little dance with the fists in Japan has become very popular now.
Huh. Cool. Yeah, it's good. I like it. Thank you for sharing it.
Yeah. Yes. So that is Atarashi Gakko.
Atarashi Gakko, Otona Blue.
Otona Blue. Yes.
Why what's the first take? What does that mean?
The first video. I don't know. The first take.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
Atarashi
Gakko. But yeah. That's it.
Nice. I like it. Thank you for that. So we've done some homework. We've done some culture catch-up. We've done some MyTube.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting things this week. Time to wrap ourselves up with some recommendations. I would say, from what I've talked about today, I think people should go away, watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, of course. I'm sure you have done, or you're planning to if you want to. And also watch Total Forgiveness, the Dropout show that I was talking about. Very good stuff. I really liked it. What would you recommend people do?
Watch Do the Right Thing. Watch it. And you know, season 4 of Never Ever Ever is coming out. Watch all 3 seasons. Enjoy some high school love.
Do that.
Yes.
I like it. So that will do us for this week. Our 104th episode of the podcast of Culture Bucket. Next week, you can return to us and listen to us discuss our top 5 favourite Studio Ghibli movies.
Yes.
We've talked about animated movies in the past and animated movies in languages other than English, but we're focusing in now on Studio Ghibli, and it's going to be Alex's time to shine with her expert knowledge of Ghibli and everything they do.
Yeah.
And that's going to be wonderful. So join us for that next week, please, episode 105. And then in the future, we've got really exciting stuff to share with you. We're going to be talking about Spider-Man. We're going to be talking about Batman, Taylor Swift. The Bear season 2 is coming, so we've got some plans for that. So keep on listening to Culture Bucket, and we'll be back with you very shortly.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.